Hello, I'm Cody Worden. I'm the Director of Business Development for Austin American Technology, and today we're going to give you a full detailed overview about the Mega ION Solvent Bath Cleaner. And no better person to give us all this information than Mr. Todd Rountree, the President and CEO of Austin American Technology. Todd, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Oh man, I'm doing great. So let's dig in. Let's not waste anyone's time. Let's start with the cosmetics. What are we looking at here?
So basically, this is our Mega ION. We've been building this for a number of years. It is all stainless steel construction, actually with aluminum panels that are powder coated. It has a process tank up top. We use a storage tank for actually all of our chemistry and everything is down below. And it actually has a built-in spill containment as well in the front part of it. So if we did have a leak, it's all contained within the one unit, all sitting in a nice 3.5 foot by 3.5 foot space.
Yeah, I mean, you and I stand right about 6 feet tall, so this is not a big machine at all.
No, definitely not.
But it definitely does all the jobs that we need it to be done. So let's say we just got this delivered. What all do we need to have this installed and up and running?
It's actually very simple. It's a 220 volt or 240 volt, all the way down to 208 volt. But anyhow, power supply, we need an air line, clean, dry air. We need between 80 and 100 PSI to run it. And we need an exhaust pulling about 1 to 200 CFM.
All right, perfect. All right, so we got stainless steel. I mean, you guys spared no expense when you built this thing. And obviously, me being the new guy, I'm learning as much as I can. Tell me about the price and how we compare to the competition out there.
Well, it's actually interesting that you bring that up. So really, there is nothing in the electronics industry that simulates this machine. So in essence, we really don't have any competition. But the closest competitor would be a vapor degreaser, and we're priced about the same, actually, as a vapor degreaser. But the difference in this machine is that you actually get a rose test as well, and that generally requires a separate ionograph machine to be purchased. So when you actually compare those two, we're considerably less.
All right, so not only are we less on the sticker price, but when you actually, like you said, remove the other machine because it has a built-in rose tester, you're going to be saving money on that as well. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking, and you're crunching the numbers on the executive level, trying to figure out how this machine fits in, you're going to be able to save a lot of money by putting this on your floor, the assembly line process, because it does everything. Now, with that being said, one of the other things we want to know about is the multi-use, the different functionalities and applications we can use on this machine.
So we can actually do several different things with it. Like I mentioned, the vapor degreaser. So there are a lot of chemistries, NPB and trichloroethylene, that are being banned in different areas. So a lot of the solvents that replace that can be used in this machine. We also a lot of times use it as strictly a pre-conformal coat cleaner. So if you're going to be conformal coating your parts, you can use a mixture of 75% IPA, 25% deionized water. That will actually allow you to do an IPC standard rose test with it afterwards on an entire batch of parts at the same time. Plus, we also build this in a semi-aqueous model, and you'll actually be able to use some semi-aqueous chemistries in it as well.
All right, so that way, so what I'm understanding, we got closed loop, which is the Mega ION right here, and then we have the Mega SA, which is the open loop configuration, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
All right, now you mentioned the vapor degreaser, and being the new guy, I've been hearing this float around a lot. So let's break down. I'm hearing people wanting to move away from it. This is a great machine that we could replace that. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's, typically the vapor degreasing process is always, you use a very volatile chemistry. The parts are dipped in it. And then basically it's a boiling chemistry. So you have a lot of vapor from there on out. Parts are pulled out. That's basically where the vapor kind of comes from. But that requires a condenser. You have to try to condense that vapor back into fluid to try to retain some of the, retain your chemistry. But basically you tend to lose a lot of it out of your vent stack. And the fact that it's an open process, you're losing a lot of it to evaporation. So in this machine, it's a closed process tank during the entire process. And then of course our storage tank is closed. So we have nowhere near the evaporation or evaporative losses that you would have in a vapor degreaser. And this basically emulates the same thing. We don't heat it. So a lot of the chemistries now don't really need to be boiled. But basically it will run those chemistries the same way in a closed loop, saving you money on that. Basically
that's a lot of good information. Now let's talk a little bit. I see the black box sitting on the back. So when we talk about the vapor degreasers, we also hear Ultrasonics coming up a lot. So this particular one we have in our demo room is equipped with Ultrasonics. Is that something you're seeing a lot of people purchase with nowadays?
We see it every now and then. It's not always a definite that somebody would want to go with ultrasonic, but we do have that capability. And like you mentioned, we do have it on our demo machine here, so we can really test the efficiency of whether Ultrasonics would help in your process or not.
All right, well, let's dig in. Let's take a look at the machine. Let's open this thing up. Let's show you what we're actually working with here. So you already got this filled. What solution do we got in here right now?
This is a 75% IPA, 25% DI mixture that we have in this particular machine right here. We do have it filled up. Like you'd said, generally it would be empty when the operator would come up. But basically the operator simply puts the parts inside the basket, slides it down into the chamber, closes the lid, and then basically steps over here and begins to run the machine.
So before we turn it on, one of the things I wanted to talk about too with this particular machine is you change the way it's designed underneath, because we're dealing with some pretty volatile solutions in chemistry. So tell me about the pneumatic pump and why we actually went that route.
Well, actually, so that's very important because we went pneumatic strictly to retain its fire suppression. So you do not need a fire suppression unit for this. Everything down below that would come in contact with any chemistry is all pneumatic. So therefore, we have no explosion hazards.
Oh, perfect. Can we turn it on?
Sure, absolutely. Okay, so it is a 15-inch industrial think HMI touchscreen high definition display. When the operator steps over, they'll actually have 3 different programs they can choose from. They have a clean only, they have a clean and test, and they have a test only. The clean only allows the operator just to put parts in, where basically we'll circulate the fluid, clean them up to a known resistivity, and then in the test, drain and dry. Clean and test will actually, the operator will go in, do the same cleaning process, but will at the end of the cleaning process, we actually clean the fluid up to a known resistivity. And once it reaches that resistivity, that's our baseline or our starting point for a test. So then we go into the test phase. A couple minutes goes by, and we measure the change in resistance or change in conductivity as we go through that test. And that's how we come about our roast test. Then if you want to do a roast test only, that is our test only phase. So you can actually just do a simple roast test on the parts and move on without having to clean anything. So now, in order to go ahead and turn it on, I'm going to jump to our maintenance section real quick and kind of show you this is our maintenance page. But all we're going to do is we're just going to press this button here and allow it to circulate.
So let's go back to some of the applications that go on with this machine. Now, we've been really trying to break into that medical device, medical equipment. So talk about how they can actually utilize this machine to streamline their sanitary process.
So it can be used as a COVID-19 kind of, basically deterrent, so to speak. So anything that can get wet, we can put in this machine. And therefore, parts, tools, things like that, if you have a repetitive station, so in other words, different shifts where people are using the same tools, in between shifts, they can actually put it in 100% alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, run a real quick 2-minute wash, let it dry. And then basically within, 5 or so minutes, they can actually have a, clean and sanitized tool.
Yeah. So when you talk about multiple people within your facility having to use the same tools, this kind of bridges the gap, make sure that there is no sanitary issues when you're going from one person using the tool to the other. So that is a pretty detailed breakdown about the Mega series. Anything else you think we need to add?
I don't think so. I think,
right.
The only thing I can think of is, just call us.
Yeah, give us a call. Give us a call. The great thing about Austin American Technology, not only do we spend all the money and put all the resources into the machines to make sure they're very efficient, we pass that savings on to you. We have the batch cleaner. We have an inline. We do have a stencil and misprint cleaner. So definitely reach out to us, info@aat-corp.com. Or as always, you can reach out to myself, Justin, or Todd at aat-corp.com or Justin at aat-corp.com. We look forward to working with you.